Yes, I said it. A 95-year-old woman is being charged with the murder of her roommate. So we got 2 videos to watch of this. So let's get into it and break all this down because this is a wild story.
Now to an unthinkable crime in Coney Island. A 95-year-old woman now being charged with murder for the fatal beating of her elderly roommate.
So disturbing. Fox 5's Sharon Crowley is live in Coney Island with more on the investigation. Sharon?
Yeah, we're getting some new information from the criminal complaint about exactly how this crime took place. We are live right now in Coney Island. We're outside the Seagate Rehabilitation and Nursing Center in Coney Island. And as you said, police have charged a 95-year-old woman with murdering her 89-year-old roommate. Both of them were in this facility.
Quick question. You know I'm not going to stop it too much, but at 95 years old, why are you trying to kill somebody? Come on, let's be honest about it. At 95 years old, you're going to risk going to jail. Now, absolutely crazy. Let's keep going in and see what happened.
When it happened. Now, this happened as Sunday on a third-floor room of this residential facility. Now, according to the criminal complaint that was filed by the Brooklyn DA, a nurse telling police that she checked on the 89-year-old victim, Nina Kravtsov, and she said that she was asleep. And then an hour later, the nurse returned to the room only to find her covered in blood and her roommate, the defendant, 95-year-old Galina Smirnova, washing blood off of her clothing in the bathroom. Now, the criminal complaint reads in part that the victim, Nina Kravtsov, was lying in her bed, non-responsive, covered in blood with a gash mark about her face. And further, the witness saying that the defendant was in the bathroom that is inside the patient room and observed that the defendant's hospital gown was bloody and the defendant had blood on her legs, and the defendant was also washing her hands in the bathroom sink. I spoke with families who have relatives in this care facility a short time ago. You can imagine they were shocked.
I was terrified. I didn't know what to think, actually. And it's like the first thing I did was call to make sure my mom was okay and that nobody else got hurt. And then I came to visit her today.
I heard about accident. That's it. That somebody killed somebody.
What did you think?
It's terrible. Terrible.
And I came to see my wife at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30. She explained to me like what happened. I just said to she, yeah, I see everything in the news.
And court documents showing that investigators may be looking at the pedals of the wheelchair as a possible murder weapon. They were covered in blood, according to the criminal complaint. And one of those pedals was seen. It was thrown out the third-floor window and later found and confiscated by police. So the defendant in this case has been moved to Bellevue and will be back in court later this month. For now, I'm Sharon Crowley in Coney.
95 years old, and she beat her roommate with the wheel of a wheelchair, and then she threw it out the window. Wow. What? Oh my God. What was she mad about? That's what drove her to want to kill her roommate at 95 years old. Horrible tragedy. First thing first, we got to say horrible tragedy. And if she really did do it, because you are innocent until you're proven guilty in a court of law, she needs to be punished for her crimes in jail. I'm not sure how that's going to work with a 95-year-old woman, but hey, she's got to face the consequences. But let's get over into this next video. Just get it from a different news article and see. Wow, that's what she. Oh wow. First time seeing what this is what she looks like. Let's get into it and see if that's the 95-year-old or the
95-year-old woman is being held tonight without bail.
Yeah,
She's accused of murdering her 89-year-old roommate at a nursing home in Brooklyn. And tonight, a lawyer for the victim's family is talking to Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon about the tragedy.
The way she died is like in a Stephen King horror movie.
The violent death in a Coney Island nursing home of an 89-year-old Holocaust survivor and great-grandmother, allegedly at the hands of her 95-year-old roommate, has left her family broken.
This didn't have to happen. This should never have happened.
95-year-old Galina Smirnova was arraigned on a murder charge today in Brooklyn Criminal Court. According to prosecutors, she was discovered by a staff member at Seagate Nursing Home washing blood off herself and around the room she had shared with Nina Kravtsov for only 2 days. Nina Kravtsov was dead, according to the medical examiner, of blunt force trauma.
She was asleep at sometime around 9 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock, she was beaten to a pulp.
The alleged murder weapon, a leg rest from Smirnova's wheelchair found discarded outside the building. Kravtsov's family's attorney Randy Zellin is normally a defense lawyer and tells us dementia plays a legal role here in 2 ways. First, in a likely civil suit against Seagate, which had been Kravtsov's home for several years, arguing that it shouldn't have paired a patient with dementia with a roommate in a brand new environment without some supervision. And second, if the defense makes the case Smirnova didn't know what she was doing.
Dementia can bring on, unprovoked, out of nowhere, a fit of complete rage. So defensively, that's the defense. Now, be interesting to see how that plays in against the backdrop of apparently discarding the piece of the wheelchair, washing her hands in the bathroom. Now suddenly we begin to see, maybe I do know what I was doing.
Attorney Randy Zellin says
Good
a
point.
team here at his office will be seeking justice for the family, looking to hold Seagate accountable if it could have prevented the tragedy with different protocols or staffing. We've reached out, but there has been no comment from the nursing home. In Midtown, Sonia Rincon, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. That is a crazy situation to where,
Starting
tell me your thoughts, y'all. Where is she at? Tell me your thoughts. At 95 years old, killing her roommate. What was she tired of her talk? What? But okay, she said that she had dementia, so she could have just flew into a fit of rage. But the 95-year-old was able to beat up the 89-year-old. It's absolutely horrible situation. Absolutely horrible situation that she was able to, in her life, in the 89-year-old woman's life. And at the end of the day, she got to face the crimes, to face the punishment for her crimes. End of the day. Yeah, that's a good question that he made, though, was since they're going to use that as she obviously knew that she did something wrong since she tried to discard of the murder weapon, tried to clean up, but it's a lot of questions. Why did she do it? Was it just did she suffer from did her dementia start acting up? Absolutely crazy. Do you think that the nursing home should be held responsible? That is another question. They're most likely going to end up suing the nursing home, or at least that's my thoughts. They might end up suing the nursing home because they paired them two together. But do you think that the nursing home should be held responsible? I don't know. That's a wild situation, a very wild situation. Obviously the nursing home would never think that this kind of thing would happen. But it's most likely, but is it their job to plan for situations that could happen? Has she ever shown any violence in the past that made her? Because if she showed violence in the past by acting up like this, then obviously then they should have put 2 and 2 together. But so many questions. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel. How much time do you think she should get? Are they gonna? They might say she is too. She is not capable of going through trial. That could be one of the things where she just doesn't go through trial because of her health. That's a reasonable thing. As a 95-year-old, that's reasonable, at least to me. But at the end of the day, she's going to have to be held responsible for her crimes. Absolutely crazy. I wasn't expecting to see that. Let's pivot. That's absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said, but that is a crazy scenario. And the world gets crazier and crazier every single day, it seems like. Every single day. But at the end of the day, y'all, what do I always say? We got to keep reviewing the world together. We got to keep reviewing the world together. All right, everybody, remember this is